Hey everyone, my name is Costa, and in today's video I'm gonna design this yoga website inside Figma, and in the next video I'm gonna build this inside Framer. So now I'm gonna delete this website, and on my left side I have some text that is prepared and some images, and you can find the link in the description below for all these things. So now let's get started. I will start by creating a new frame, and it is gonna be 1200 pixels. I use 1200, you can use a different sizes if you want to, but I would say it's better to go with 1200 because if your website looks good on this breakpoint, then it's gonna look good on any other breakpoints that is bigger than this. So now I'm gonna drag inside the hero image, align to the top, and then let's drag inside the logo, put it here. And also let's drag inside the navbar labels. And for this, I'm gonna use auto layout. Although I'm not a huge fan of auto layout, in some cases it's still great. So therefore, I'm gonna select all of the elements, then click on the auto layout icon, and then click on this horizontal alignment like this. And also let's go to width and switch to hug contents so that it hugs all of the 4 elements. Now let's select both of the elements, center them, and let's make sure that the padding is 48 pixels, or let's go with 56. And then select this element right here, and also make sure that it's 56 pixels. Select both of them, press Ctrl G to create a group. And then let's add here maybe 48 pixels for the top padding. Nice. So far we are doing great. And now let's bring inside the headline, which I'm gonna make it less wide, something like this. 2 lines, not 3, because 3 is too much. So if you would have something like this, it will be too much. Therefore 2 lines is perfect, but I want to have a different font for the headlines. I want something more elegant because this website is oriented more towards women than men, so therefore we are gonna try to make this more feminine but also bring a bit of conservativeness by adding a conservative font like a serif font. So I'm gonna look up for instrument serif, which I know that some designers might not like seeing it because it has been overused over the past few years, but still I think it's a great font and looks great. For the line height I use 100%, and for the size it's gonna be 72 pixels, so that is basically the H1. Now I'm gonna bring inside the sub headline as well, and let's put it on 2 lines. Now for this one I use 150% for the line height and 16 pixels for the size, and then let's select both of them and add 16 pixels gap. Then press Ctrl G to group them together, and now let's bring inside the button. And for the button, that is gonna be the primary button. We are gonna use a shape like this, which again it's more feminine. And I will switch from solid color to a stroke like this by pressing Shift and X on my keyboard and change the color to white. Select both of them, center them, and group them together. Now let's select the 2 elements, the text and the button, and this time I'm gonna add a 16 pixels gap. Okay, 16 is not good, as you can see. Why is this? Because the text has some spacing around. So in this case, I'm gonna double the gap to 32 pixels, and then now it looks great. Now I'm gonna select this, the entire element, and make sure that I use maybe 80 pixels for the bottom padding. And one more thing I want to add to this hero is some contrast here, because right now, as you can see, it's a bit too noisy for the text and it's not that readable. It's quite hard to read the text. Therefore, I'm gonna create a rectangle like this, which is gonna cover the entire hero at the bottom. And now I'm gonna press Ctrl and the left bracket key to bring this behind the text. Okay, and let's switch from solid color to gradient, and let's rotate this to a vertical gradient like this. And now I will select the top and the bottom gradient to this color. And then for the bottom, I'm gonna reduce the opacity to 0. Voila. Now we have better contrast and everything looks good, right? So we can actually group them together, why not? Now I will select the frame, press and hold on Ctrl, and then expand the height of the frame like this, so that we can add a new section, which is gonna be the classes. So here we're gonna add our classes. Let's move this inside. Right now we can't see anything, but I'm gonna select the frame. Then let's select the background color that I'm gonna use, and we still can't see anything. Therefore, I'm gonna change the color to this brown color right here. So let's select it. Now the subheadline as well. And now for the subheadline, I'm gonna reduce the opacity to 80%. This looks good. And also let's put this subheadline to 2 lines. Also, let's change the font to this instrument serif as well. So instrument serif, and the size for this headline now I'm gonna use 56 pixels, as this one is the main heading of the page that is called H1. The H1 usually is the biggest headline on the page. So this one has 72 pixels, like I said, and this one has 56. For the subheadline, we are gonna keep the same subheadline. Therefore, I'm gonna select both of them. And now here we use 16 pixels. Actually, it's the same gap like here. And also group them together. We are gonna make sure that we turn on the rulers. So to do this, you have to press and hold Shift and R like this to turn on the rulers. And let's drag one of the ruler next to the text. It has to touch the text and the logo here. Why? Because we are gonna use this as a grid. We can actually also add grids if we want to, but we only need 2 types of grids. So therefore, we don't need it to activate the one right here. Okay, so now I'm gonna select the rectangle here and create something like this. All right, click frame selection, and now let's remove the rectangle inside the frame. And as you can see, the fill is also gone. Therefore, I'm gonna click on fill and also click clip content. This makes sure that everything you put inside this frame right here is gonna stay inside and it's not gonna overlap outside. Okay, so now I'm gonna drag inside the image, the first image for this class. I'm gonna put it here. Let's align it to the center. Looks good, something like this. And now let's drag inside the content, the text, like this. And as you can see, we have the same problem here that we had here. There is not enough contrast, there is some noise behind this text, which makes it hard to read. Therefore, I'm gonna select this shape that we created before, drag it, and then press Ctrl X, paste it inside this rectangle. Then let's move it to the bottom. Let's make it less white, something like this. So now it's much better. Also, let's change the headline to instrument serif as well, and then select the description and the headline. And here, as you can see, it's only 8 pixels gap. Why? Because here we have less space, therefore the text is smaller, at least the headline is smaller, and so we need less gap, right? So I'm gonna group them together as well. Normally on my original design, I had the same button over here, but I believe that for here, I'm gonna use a different kind of button. It's gonna be the secondary button, because this one is too big for such a small card. So I'm gonna use actually a button like this with an underline. Let's select the text of the button and the underline, and then let's add a 8 pixels gap. And yeah, this can be the button. So now let's select the button and the text. and let's add a 16 pixels gap, something like this. And now let's make sure to add a padding. The padding is gonna be, I believe, 32 pixels for the bottom and for the left. So 32 pixels looks fine. And now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna drag the ruler. So that is basically the second grid that we are gonna use. So far looks great. Now for the gap, we are gonna use, I believe, 20 pixels. So I'm gonna create a rectangle like this and then lock the size ratio and then type in 20. Now let's put it in here and let's duplicate this one, make sure that it's not overlapping with this square, and select, hold Control and then drag it to the right. And here, as you can see, we have 56 pixels. Therefore, we need here 56 pixels as well. So what I'm gonna do, maybe let's create a square like this one and then drag a ruler over here as well. So now we have the same padding. Okay, and then yeah, this looks great. Now what we have to do is also drag this rectangle that makes sure that we can read the text to the right like this, expand a bit the height of the page, copy the text, select it, and then press Ctrl V to paste it. And if you do this, then as you can see, we copied the font as well. We don't want this, so what you can do is right click and then click on paste and match style, or what you can also do is press Ctrl, top arrow key and V. So Ctrl, top arrow key and V, but I would say it's much easier to just right click and paste and match style. So now we have the same style. Also, let's paste this right here. Same style as well. So now let's also drag this image inside, press Ctrl X, select this image, and then press Ctrl Shift R to replace the image that is inside. So now it looks good. Let's duplicate this one, move it to the bottom, and let's make sure that we have 20 pixels, or you can simply press and hold Alt and then hover on this image and you will see what's the gap. So I'm gonna make sure that it's 20 pixels, and let's duplicate this one as well. So now I'm gonna make sure that I select all of them, Ctrl G to put them in a group, and then select the text and the image. And here we are gonna use, I will say 48 pixels. Select the entire section, and here we need to use 120 pixels. And let's go to the benefit section. For this one, I'm gonna drag the text again inside, and this time I'm gonna center the text because we want to use a zigzag layout where the user starts first to see the text center aligned, and then it's left aligned, then center aligned, and then left aligned again, and so on. So let's change the color, put this on 2 lines, and this on 2 lines as well. Actually, I didn't have to make this brown because we are gonna use an image here, but let's switch first to instrument serif. Add a 16 pixels gap, make sure it's centered, group it, and let's bring inside the next image. So I'm gonna drag this here, and then let's use the left arrow key to put the image behind the text. Also, let's make sure that we have a 120 pixels gap, so 120. And for the top padding, I'm gonna use 80 pixels gap like this. Change the text to white, and then the subheadline to white as well, and 80% opacity. As you can see, there is not enough contrast once again, like there is a bit too noisy, maybe for the text, and we can't really read it. Therefore, we are going to do the same thing as we did on the other sections. Copy this element, press Shift and V to flip it vertically like this, and let's make sure that it's inside the frame, and also let's align it to the center. Also, we need this one more time, Now press and hold Shift and V to flip it again vertically, because we need also to add some text here as well. This is gonna be the benefits. So yeah, let's bring inside the next text. I'm gonna bring this first. Let's make sure it's aligned correctly, and let's add 80 pixels like this. I'm gonna drag inside the next text, which will be here, and then this one as well. Let's select all three headings, and then let's switch to instrument serif. Nice. Now let's select the first one, make sure it has the right gap, 8 pixels, then group it together, do the same with this one and this one as well. So this looks good. What I'm gonna do now, so I'm gonna add some vertical divider. So let's go to the shapes. Here we select a line, create a line like this one, and reduce the opacity to 80% or maybe 50%. And the gap is gonna be 24 pixels. So I'm gonna duplicate this line, and then let's make sure that here we have 24 pixels as well, and group it together. So as you can see, I only added divider here and here because here is where the text starts. So we don't have to divide anything here, but we have to divide here in order to give it a better structure to this section. So now we can put this in the center, and this looks fine. Next, I will expand the page even more. But first, let's actually put everything in a group like this. Group them first, and then let's group the entire section. Make sure it's 120 pixels. So the next section is about the Instructor. So I'm gonna drag it inside the headline first, make it brown, and put this on 2 lines. Usually I don't like to have only one word on the second line. So usually I don't like to have only one word on the second line because it is called an orphan, and usually this can be confused with a CTA. Therefore, I try to avoid it, but on web it's very hard to do this. In this case, for example, I will need to use a extra word or to remove this word here. So yeah, it's pretty complicated to not have any widows or orphans on a website. Therefore, we will move on and ignore it. Let's also bring inside the subheadline and change the color, and then reduce the opacity to 80%, 16 pixels gap, group it together and put it here. And we also want to add this here. Let's again change the color, and then they need to be on top of each other like this. And also let's bring inside the picture of the Instructor, which is gonna be this one. Press and hold Control and Alt, and then make sure that we make this less wide, something like this. Also, as you can see right now, the image is not perfectly in the center. What we can do is double click and then move it like this in the center. So let's type inside of the radius 999 and make this beautiful shape. And this looks good. Now here we want to create some icons. So I'm gonna create an icon like this, 24 pixels and 24 pixels for the height. Lock the size, press and hold Shift and X to switch the color, and let's add this color right here, and then select the pen tool and create a check icon like this one. So this looks fine. Now I'm gonna select the color, group it together, and maybe let's reduce this a bit like this. Duplicate it. Now make sure that when you align this, you align it like this. Then add a 16 pixels gap the same here, 16 pixels gap, and make sure it's aligned correctly. Okay, and duplicate this one more time. Now select this, group it together, and 16 pixels gap here as well. So everything looks fine. Now let's select all of them, or actually let's add some dividers like here, because we need some patterns on our website. Therefore, when you use one element somewhere, you need to make sure that you use it somewhere else as well. This will help the user recognize some patterns, and yeah, it's better for the experience of the user. So I'm gonna create a new divider like this, and this looks good. We can go maybe like this. Let's select a color, 16 pixels. Yeah, 16 pixels is gonna be fine. Do the same over here, 16 pixels. And the same over here. Group them together, and then let's add maybe 32 pixels. We want to make it as tall as this element here, so at least approximately as tall, and this looks fine. I'm gonna group them together and then select the two elements and let's center them. Usually you want to top align them, but in this case, because they have approximately the same height, we can actually center them, and yeah, it's gonna look fine. Although right here it looks a bit too tall, so maybe let's reduce this to 16 pixels. And now it looks better, I guess. Yeah, maybe let's reduce the width, make it less wide, something like this. And here we are gonna have 56 pixels, and here I see we use 48, so therefore I'm gonna go with 48 as well. Okay, nice. So this section looks fine as well. I'm gonna select all of the elements and once again group them together and make sure that we use 120 pixels gap between the sections. So, oh, and I also forgot actually to use the instrument serif for the headline. So I'm gonna make sure that actually they touch the ruler right here, because this way we can keep the same grid everywhere. So now I'm gonna create the pricing section, bring it inside, change the color to this brown once again, and this one as well, 80%. And let's make sure we center them like this. Change the font, instrument serif, 16 pixels gap, looks good. Group them together and we keep them on one line, one row like this, which looks good. So now it's time to create the shape for the pricing cards. We have only 2 pricing cards, therefore we are gonna keep it simple. Switch to stroke, select the color, and now let's bring inside pricing, and everything here we switch back to this color. Looks good. Here we use instrument serif and make sure that we align this to this ruler line. And also let's check out this 32 pixels. Also let's add here 32 pixels as well. So this looks good, and the text here needs also 32 pixels, but first let's change this to instrument serif as well. It is not a headline, but it's something we want to highlight, therefore we want to make the text bigger. So let's add 32 pixels for the gap and also 32 pixels for the padding. So something like this. I think I forgot actually to add a divider like this, so we need to make sure that we add a divider, 32 pixels. Now we have to make this taller. and we can keep here maybe 16 pixels. Yeah, this looks fine in the center, and it's gonna be 20 pixels. Okay, let's make this wider, select everything and move it to the right like this. Now we have the perfect size, and yeah, now let's make this wider, 32 pixels. Okay, press Ctrl C, select then this element right here, press Ctrl Shift R to replace it, and voila. Now let's copy the text here, select it, paste it right here, and we have a problem because it's aligned to the center, but now it looks good. And select this text here as well. So we also need some buttons here, and I'm gonna actually copy maybe one of these buttons, Ctrl C to copy and Ctrl V to paste. Now let's make sure that it's aligned to the bottom like this, which to be honest doesn't look like that great. So we can actually maybe use the primary button here. Yeah, we can go with the primary button, why not? Let's click to select it, Ctrl Shift R to replace it. I think this looks better here, but we have a problem because now it's 16 pixels. Actually, it's great. Yeah, that is great. So voila. So this looks great as well. Now let's group them together at 48 pixels and then 120 pixels here. Nice. Expand the page even further, and let's add the testimonials now. Select them, select the text like this, 120, change the headline, and let's create a square, switch to stroke, duplicate this like this and make sure we use 20 pixels, then press Ctrl D to duplicate one more time, select all of them, make it bigger, something like this, and now here we decrease the gap to 20 pixels because when you make the shapes bigger, the gap is gonna change a bit. So we switch back to 20 pixels, and yeah, this looks good. 48 pixels here, and let's create a cards now. So I'm gonna bring inside the testimonials. Okay, and let's see, 32 pixels, 16 pixels gap, great. So everything looks fine. We also need to use a profile picture. Which is gonna have 32 pixels as well, like this. And for the middle one, we are gonna use a video. I'm gonna press Ctrl X. Now let's select this card here and right click, frame selection, go inside, remove this rectangle, select the frame, click on clip content, and then paste inside the image. Something like this. I believe it's gonna look fine. And here we also need to select this rectangle, and then let's make it like this. Duplicate it, 32 pixels, change the color to white, select the name, paste it here, and also the testimonial as well. And here what we are gonna use, instead of a profile picture, we are gonna drag this inside, remove the image, and I'm gonna make it the same color as the background. Then let's select the polygon, create a triangle like this, rotate it like this, and move it into center, switch to stroke, change the color. You can make it bigger if you want to, maybe smaller a bit, something like this. So basically this is a testimonial video where, you know, if you click on this icon, then the subject in here is gonna give a testimonial. So yeah, that is nice. Now let's copy. Maybe what I'm gonna do is select this, group it together, press Ctrl C, then select this one, press Ctrl Shift R, and replace it. Now all we have to do is replace the image here. Select this, copy it, then select this image, press Ctrl Shift R again to replace it, and then let's also select the name, right click, replace it, and the testimonial. Okay, so we have a problem here. So this has more text, therefore we want to make sure that we use 16 pixels like this. But there is still one thing missing, and that's actually the buttons. Because when you have a carousel or a slideshow, usually you have buttons or indicators that is a carousel or a slideshow. So I'm gonna press Ctrl X, then paste this here, and remove the text, select the pen tool, create a line like this, then switch to this arrow. Okay, so let's make this way smaller and make sure that it's aligned to the center, even smaller. Okay, select both of them, group them, then duplicate them, press and hold Shift and H to switch horizontally. Then select both of them, and maybe 8 pixels. It's gonna be fine. Then group them together, select these two elements, the text, group it together, and then select the text and the buttons and align to the bottom like this. Then group them together. Now we move to the last section. Normally you have a footer, but we are gonna use the CTA section, and we are gonna put the footer inside the CTA section. Why this approach? Because the footer is gonna be really small, so we don't want to create one extra footer, and we want to, you know, put it together with the CTA section. Bring inside this image right here. Then let's make sure it's 120 pixels. Yep. So now I'm gonna copy this element from here, bring it inside, put it right here, because here we need to put the text, and the text is gonna be this here. 80 pixels. Switch to instrument serif. Align it to the center and group it together. Then let's drag in the button, copy it, paste it inside, 32 pixels, and this is it. I see there is a small gap here, so I'm gonna drag back the height of the home page. I'm gonna actually duplicate this as well. Then let's put this to the bottom, and here we are gonna add a divider, so let's create a line like this. It's gonna be 50%. So we want to have the same opacity like here in this image. And now here we are gonna duplicate the logo, or actually let's drag it from here, put it on top maybe. Select a logo and a divider and put it to 32 pixels or maybe 16. And then we also want some icons, some social icons. So I'm gonna press Ctrl and K, look up for Iconify or other icon plugin, and then look up maybe a YouTube icon like this one. Change the color to white. And then also Instagram. I see that the width of this stroke is thicker here than the YouTube one, but it is what it is. Oh, we can actually change this maybe. Can make it 1 pixel. And let's add a 16 pixels gap or 8 pixels. Let's select the button and icons and bottom align them like this. So one more thing we need to add is this right here. So let's put it, the copyright, which is gonna be 24 pixels is fine, I guess. So yeah, guys, that is it. Now let's preview the website and let's see what we have created in like 1 hour or so. So let's see. Well, this looks actually pretty good, I would say. And don't forget that in the next video, I'm gonna create this inside framer. So if you want to learn how I do this, then make sure you subscribe to my channel and give a like to this video. Thank you so much for watching and see you next time.